Hello, this is David Perlman here for Conversations at TheWholeNote, and I'm with Suzie LeBlanc. Thank you so much. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
We saw you last October.
Yep.
Just before you released the Elizabeth Bishop CD.
Yes.
And you're back on a flying visit to Toronto. You were teaching at U of T today?
Yes. I had some concerts last weekend and some teaching today.
The concerts were at Trinity Chapel, right?
Yes, beautiful chapel. Yeah, with Daniel Taylor and his group. And then we did it at Stratford for John LeBlanc and his organization there. And Martha Henry was reading, so the great pleasure of hearing her read. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And you're here and just briefly, and then you're off to Seattle?
Yes,
right?
actually the next thing is Seattle with Ensemble Constantinople.
Okay.
And Edmonton. We've just put out a CD, so we're actually performing the songs from that. And afterwards I go to Halifax for the gala of the Lieutenant Governor Masterworks Award, Nova Scotia Masterworks Award, and that is because the Bishop CD is a finalist, one of 5 finalists for the prize, which is $25,000 for first prize, and
that wouldn't hurt.
It would be lovely
to do more music.
Yes, exactly.
If you are in need of music.
In need of music, we are in need of all sorts of things.
Right.
But yeah, fantastic.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting because it just being a finalist is already an amazing honor. It's a multidiscipline prize, so there's a play and there's visual arts, and so we're amazed and very,
the date
very
of that is when?
That is November 20th. It will be announced on that day.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Ensemble Constantinople, the CD is called?
It's called Métamorphose, Impression Baroque.
Okay.
And it's a CD which is very much influenced, and the starting point was Barbara Strozzi's music. There's also some Monteverdi, there's also some Stefano Landi, there's some Kapsberger, and so instrumental sections, of course, with Constantinople. I sing about 6 songs on it. So
it's and who's Ensemble Constantinople? Who are the players?
They 2 brothers,
right.
Kia Tabassian and Zia Tabassian, and then a gamba player called Pierre-Yves Martel. That is the core group. But Ensemble Constantinople is a moving number of people. They tend to work by projects. And so they expand or narrow depending on the projects. And the next project I'm doing with them is actually in Greece, and we're expanding a lot for that project. There's actually a Greek choir and Greek singers, and singer Marco Beasley from Italy, wonderful tenor. So they vary, and they do projects also that are not necessarily early music. You know, they do Persian music. They do all sorts of collaborations with musicians from all over the world. What was exciting about the Italian one, the Metamorfosi, there's also some Baroque players from the Basque country, wonderful lute player called Enrique Solinis, and his wife Miren, who's a violinist. So it's sort of a cross-culture of Kia's instruments, which are not Baroque necessarily, but blend extremely well and add this amazing color, this sitar that he plays. So.
And this is a Montreal connection for you?
Yes.
Is that where they are based?
They are based in Montreal. They actually travel a lot. They play very, very many places internationally. They're always on planes in different formations. But we all sort of hail from Montreal.
When you're at home, Montreal is home.
Yes, at the moment Montreal has become a new home again.
Yeah, home again.
Yeah.
So that project is you're going to Seattle, early music, and then to Edmonton with that.
Yes.
And then off to Halifax. And
yes.
When do we see you here again?
I'm thinking, when is the next concert? Because I'm teaching here in January with Lucas Harris Continuo Collective. But as far as concerts, I think I might have to plan something. I seem to be not.
You're not on the
I'm not on
December
the list.
Messiah
No.
list this year, huh?
No, and I actually am not performing here in the spring either. So we'll have to do
work on
something,
it.
work on that maybe for the fall. I could organize something. I'm thinking of doing a launch of my Christmas CD in Toronto, but actually it hasn't been planned yet.
Yeah.
So I could do a few songs then.
Last time we spoke, you were actually, you talked about how you were going to do a third Acadia CD, and you said you were going to be working on it in January of this year.
That's right.
So this is it?
This happened, and this is it.
Okay.
Yes, a new Acadian CD was born, and this one is a Christmas album.
Okay.
Recorded in the snow in Memramcook in January, and it just was released at the end of October.
This is an Atma?
Yes, this
project?
is an Atma release, yeah.
How many Atma releases?
Oh, many. My goodness.
They're
celebrating
20th.
their 20th, exactly.
Right.
And I was just noticing that, we've done so many projects together, wonderful projects. Really, it's sort of, you forget, you do the next one and then you move on to the next thing. And then when you look at the list, you realize, it's been a very strong, long-term relationship. And so this Christmas CD is something that Joanne Goyette has wanted for a long time. And I didn't want to sing the usual Christmas music.
Right.
Many sopranos have done that, and I really was waiting until I might think of something that's different. And it happened in an amazing way, which is this book here.
This book?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get some close-ups afterwards.
Yes,
but
it has lovely images. So what happened is that my cousin, who lives in Memramcook in a small village in New Brunswick, showed up at the end of a concert that I gave there with this book under his arm. And he rescued it from a college there, which is now defunct, which is the Collège Saint-Joseph, where my father studied, where his father had studied, where my mother used to sing when she was a young girl. And it had been discarded when the college closed, and it ended up with the baker's daughter, and she didn't have any use for it, so he asked her if he could have it. And he brought it to me because his mother had a beautiful voice, and she used to sing songs from this book. And he thought it should stay in the family, and it should be with the person who's the singer now. So I took this home, and it's published in Paris in the 1890s, so it's not Acadian per se, but it came over with somebody at some point in the 20th century, and there's a lot of songs in it that we all know, Sur le pont d'Avignon and Chaperon Rouge, and lots of well-known French folklore. But at the end, this is what caught my eye, so as I was looking, the end is just a small section of ancient noels. And when I saw that, I thought, that's interesting, let's see which noels are in there. Well, lo and behold, most of them I'd never heard the title, the tune, or the words.
Oh, really?
So there was one piece that I knew the melody, it's a very well-known melody, but I'd been looking for words for this tune for about 10 years. And there's many verses. So it's got a different title as well. Usually it's called Or nous dites Marie, and here it's called Saint-Joseph cherchant un logis. So it's the story of Mary and Joseph looking for a hotel when she's 9 months pregnant, and nobody will have them. So they're from different parts of France. You see Noël Mâconnais, Noël Dijonnais, Noël de Paris, and they have a very particular regional way of recounting the nativity story, with little things that probably mean something to the people there. And
I noticed one of them where they go off to Italy looking for
it's so strange, they're going
the
from
blonde baby in Italy.
Yes, I mean it's a strange way to go to Jerusalem, but there you go. Maybe they wanted to pick up some lovely presents like olive oil, with the incense.
Over there a ways.
Yes, that's right, exactly. So there's things like that. There's one song called Noël de Paris, which really alludes to things that are happening at that time in Paris, and it's about baking cake and getting ready for Christmas. So I changed some of the words and some of the activities to make them fit an Acadian context.
So you say that I was going to ask you, well, so the book is only 1860, but I was going to say, but I presume some of the music in the book came over long before book did.
For sure,
So,
and most of the...
But you found that these were largely unfamiliar.
Well, some of the songs also probably existed for centuries in France before they made their way into this book. It's all the arrangements are by a 19th century musicologist called Ferimst. And I think, the thing is that, even though maybe they're known in France in these places, but they really hadn't been sung much in Canada. Some of them are, but even those, they have so many more verses here. So it's so interesting to get a longer story.
So then what makes it an Acadian project?
Only that the book made its way to Acadia, and that the CD itself, I call it De la France à l'Acadie, because I've also included other songs. I didn't take them all from this book, and I included a few Acadian songs that aren't even necessarily Christmas songs. There's one song that's more like a Candlemas tune. The Candlemas was one of the biggest holidays in Acadie in olden days.
In early February.
2nd of February.
When you have to take the tree down.
That's apparently when you're allowed to take the tree down.
Allowed to take the tree down.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Fire hazard, I think, by then.
By then, for sure.
And the arrangements, is the accent of the CD?
Well, it's a lot of things. The players on the CD are an amazing team of musicians, and we all come from very different backgrounds. And so there is an Acadian, there's Jacques Gautreau, who's from Moncton, like me, Danny Parker, the bass player, who's also from Moncton, and we have David Greenberg on violin, who's known, I think, to Toronto and playing with Toronto Consort many times, and Tafa Music.
And back with Consort in the spring for Play of Daniel, I believe.
Oh!
Am I getting that wrong?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either,
I'm
but
not
for
sure.
one of their concerts.
Yes,
this
December,
spring.
yes. And then there's Nick Halley, who's a fantastic percussionist and a choir director of a boys' choir in Halifax. Alexander Weimann, who's somebody I collaborated with in the Baroque world. And then we also invited Steve Normandin, who does a couple of tracks, and he's a fantastic accordion player and singer who specializes in this sort of French chanson of Edith Piaf's time, and has an amazing knowledge of this repertoire, and also plays folk music. And so everybody's got their little niche of music, and so the arrangements are really varied, because David Greenberg also has a vast interest in Eastern European music and gypsy style, and so there's a bit of that in there. There's some early music, there's a swing one. They really vary a lot, and that was just, for me, it was the pleasure of having a great time with this music. The tunes we know are old. I didn't really know them, but I'm saying they're not complicated. They're folk tunes. Right. And the arrangements in this book are typical piano arrangements that, are done by musicologists. And they have 20th century, 19th century kind of harmonies to them. And I wanted to go away from that and just... The thing about a Christmas CD is, I think if that's when you can have freedom to be creative and to do something you like.
Project yourself musically into an occasion or into a milieu or a century.
And that can be done, exactly.
So it becomes a lead sheet for a group of musicians who can play.
It's exactly what it was. And so our arrangements aren't even written down. We just write a bass line, and then the guys would take it and improve it, because I'm not a composer. And we'd have, that starting point, and then of course everybody adds their little bit, and they're all incredible improvisers. So it creates this thing that will be different every night.
Wide range of instruments including Suzie LeBlanc on melodica.
Oh, I see. That's been noticed, has it?
It has been noticed.
Yeah, well, melodica is a very wonderful little thing. It's just a little plastic keyboard with a tube. so versatile. I've become a total fan of playing the melodica. You can play chords, melody. It's a bit like a singer. You can really inflect with because you're using your breath.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I do play a little melodica on there.
we did an interview a few years ago with an opera singer called Marcus Doss.
Uh-huh.
And he uses a melodica as part of his warm-ups.
Really?
It was an instrument that he's incorporated
I didn't realize that.
into his own
But
practices.
It's happened to me that, I'd get really tired practicing and I would want to read a modern piece or something, and you're not always able to have a piano. So this is very light to carry in a hotel room, and I would learn my music.
An instinct for phrasing, for sure, for using it.
Also.
Yeah.
No, you're completely right. Yeah.
And I harpsichord as well, which was
Yes.
interesting.
The Alex who plays harpsichord on there, and also harmonium and piano is on the CD. So
I read somewhere, I can't remember, that harpsichord was actually also very much an Acadian institution in the late 1700s.
They brought them over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the violin was the main one, and harpsichord and some flutes. So we have a harpsichord playing in some of the tunes for sure. Yeah.
So this project is an Atma project, but you're also trying to tour it.
Yes. I mean, putting the CD out is sort of a way of saying, well, here's the music, and what we really want to do is perform this music because it's so much fun. You really want to dance when you hear it. And that's how we sell CDs. It's at performances, and why not? I mean, Christmas concerts happen every year, and to bring new songs, rare songs that have been really left alone and forgotten, some of them, it would be great to bring them back into both French and other communities.
But it's a big group to tour.
It is a bit of a large group to tour. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. At this point, we're doing 2 concerts in December, which Alex wasn't able to do because of previous engagements. So we're actually rearranging things so that we can do it without him. But it's still a big group, So, and I'd love to tour with the entire group because it's better. So we're hoping. I'm working very hard on planning the tour for 2015, 2016, and maybe we'll do it in Toronto. Got some ideas already.
All right.
Yes.
So that would be then. Suzie LeBlanc goes Indiegogo.
Yes. I'm not the
Shall
only
we
one.
Take a commercial break and put in a quick plug for that, because that's got an expiry date to it, doesn't it?
Yes. The campaign goes to November 22nd.
Yeah.
The goal is $10,000. This is my little commercial break, and it is to tour the project. It's also to pay, to bring it to showcases, because that's also expensive to do, and that's how you get the presenters interested, and send a lot of CDs out to all these people all over the world, and also to recover some of the cost of the making of the CD, which was funded by Musique Action in Quebec, which is a wonderful granting organization for CDs that are in French. But we still had more costs than they fund 50% of the CD only, and so we're on our way, I think, hopefully to reaching our final goal, and then we can take this on the road and buy the plane tickets that we need, etc.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Now, when we talked getting back to the Elizabeth Bishop project, when we did that interview, you also talked about how this past summer you were hoping to launch a project relating to your mother's music.
Yes, my goodness, what a memory. Yes, and what I did, I had done, I think, at that point even the recitals with Julius Drake, I believe, in the summer, which were related to that project, because the program was about flowers and particularly the rose, and that came out of songs that my mother wanted me to sing, particularly 3 Strauss-Lieder, which are Liebeslieder, 3 Liebeslieder, which talk about roses, especially the first one. So that was the beginning of that project. I'm sorry to say that it hasn't full-fledged become the project I told you it was going to become, but it is still a work in progress and it hasn't been forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been a bit busy with this, and I've been busy with a lot of concerts and other things. So what I'm hoping to do is have some time this winter to write a script, because I have a team of video artists interested in doing this concert for my mother with video and pictures, photos, excerpts of letters and things. So
And to do that concert where?
well, we were going to do it in Edmundston, New Brunswick. I will still do it there. It wasn't possible to do it this summer for date reasons. So and after that, that's another project that we'll have to promote.
Well, there was a Toronto connection for her, was it there?
Yes, the Singing Stars of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. So you know, but that's probably not till 2017 in terms of getting that ready to be performed in Toronto. They have gestation periods,
Of
these
their own.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, most of them, I'm always thinking about 2 years, and I have to say most often it's a 5-year thing minimum, from conception to delivery.
Well, the Bishop was 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
So
was 7 years.
it
And this was a long time.
One.
Also, you know, from the day that I got the book to the CD. So the mother, it'll come.
So in the short term, we will have to listen to your CDs. And
Yes.
we'll have you back live soon, and one lucky person will get a private singing lesson with you
Yes, if they
to
contribute.
your Indiegogo
Yes.
campaign, which people can find about on your website.
Yes, I can also show up and, you know, give a little private concert. It's all there. It's all listed.
great.
Lovely perks.
Well,
And we
it's-
we update them all the time. So
Well, it's lovely to have you by, and even on a flying visit like this.
I appreciate
and,
it.
We'll take some pictures of this so that
Yes.
we can include them, and hopefully we'll see you again on your travels soon.
looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.